Alright, after watching this video, you're never going to look at Vesta cases in the same way ever again. And the reason why I'm making this is because I've just received a message from somebody on YouTube suggesting that they have a very early Vesta case. You know, the kind of things, those tiny little cases made to hold matches. And one of the very first forms of matches, companies that produced matches, was called Vesta. By the way, the coastline you see there is Northern Ireland. I'm on a cruise. I'm giving talks about antiques and things, including matches, using, of course, stories from one of my books, A Romp with the Georgians. Ruthless plug. But anyway, back to the Vesta cases. So I get this message, and the lady from America, very lovely, thank you very much, says that she has a Vesta case with silver hallmarks dating it to 1799. Well, if that really is a Vesta case from 1799, it's the rarest Vesta case on the planet and worth potentially an absolute fortune. Well, I can tell you there's no chance on earth is it ever going to be that, because the Vesta cases post date, remember this if you're out shopping or somebody offers you one, post date 1827. And let me tell you how I know that, because the match itself wasn't invented till 1827. Look at that view, it really is gorgeous, isn't it? So we're heading down the coast, eventually arriving in a couple of days in Dublin. Anyway, so where was I? Vesta cases, 1827. The story of the invention of the match is absolutely mind-boggling, and the man that invented it is a complete hero of mine, a chap by the name of John Walker. Now, John Walker came from a little town in the northeast of England. It's still there. You can go and see it, called Stockton-on-Tees. John Walker was a chemist, and he loved his job, and at home one evening he was experimenting, mixing combustible materials, as you would if you were a chemist. And he discovered by accident, when he stepped on some of the combustible materials, that it instantaneously burst into flames. What an invention. So what he did is he dipped this liquid to the tips of cardboard strips initially. Then a few days later he thought, well, wood would be better, so little splints. Dipped the splints. He had a shop on the high street in Stockton, and he started selling these little fire sticks that he referred to as congreves, because at the time the British Army had a rocket called a congreve. That's lovely greenery in the background. Ireland, I must say, well, like all of England, is terribly lush, absolutely beautiful, wonderful trip list. Congreves, that's what he called them, and he put them in little boxes with a piece of sandpaper so you could scrape it. You didn't have to scrape it on your hearth, and he sold them in his shop for the equivalent in 1827 of £7 for a box of 50 little striker matches. Well, you would buy them, wouldn't you, at £7 ago? Of course you would, because prior to that, how on earth would you light a fire? With great difficulty, probably using flint, maybe even the old wooden thing with a bit of friction. And then once you've got the fire going, you'd have to keep it going, keeping the home fires burning. And of course this was very dangerous, because fires were burning 24 hours a day in homes. Instant access to fire had never been heard of before, so the match invention in 1827 was remarkable. This is the Industrial Revolution, of course, and the match fired up, literally fired up the Industrial Revolution, and Stockton-on-Tees was in the heart of the land that came up with the Industrial Revolution. Trains, all sorts of inventions came out of that part of England. Now back to John Walker. This is why he's a great hero of mine. John Walker had his shop, he was successful, he had money, no wife, no children. In other words, he was deliriously happy. And his friend said to him, John, you're going to make a fortune. Patent this match invention, and the whole world will have to pay you a fortune every time they light a fire. John Walker didn't even have to think about it. John Walker said, I don't want to patent this match design. I have enough. I'm wealthy. I want for nothing, and I'm happy. I don't need any more money, but the world deserves and needs instant access to light and fire. So here is my invention. Here are the ingredients. Anybody, anywhere in the world has the right to make my matches. What a hero. Almost 200 years ago, John Walker invented the match.